Welcome to another episode of Let's See Plans. I'm your host, KD, and today we have a special guest. He's a firefighter, an entrepreneur, and he's expecting triplets. Welcome,
Yeah.
welcome, Dylan. How you doing, dog?
Hey, what's going on, man? What's going on? I appreciate having me on the podcast, man, for real.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. I'm glad you took the time out, so let's get to it, dog. So, first question I want to ask you is, how did you start your fitness journey?
So like you said, me being a firefighter, that's just something we have to keep up with is like our fitness, every single day we're out there putting, our lives on the line. So we got to make sure we're physically fit. But to be honest, I never was a gym person. Like growing up, I never really hit weights that much. I was actually very skinny, even when I was going through training to be a firefighter. I was very skinny actually. And I had always trouble gaining weight. And I just had a fast metabolism. And then eventually one day, I started gaining a lot of weight, which helped. But my fitness journey started when, just some life-changing events happened in my life. And I had to find a different outlet, a different way to cope with things. And I ended up finding the gym, and I actually fell in love with it. And just the journey about fitness is just awesome. Like there's just so much stuff that you can do with it, and it never ends. Like you always want to be better. So
Yeah,
I just love that about it.
So for sure. So like, when you say some like life changes, like certain stuff happened to your life that made you want to get into the fitness, you saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I'm not gonna say too much because obviously, my job gonna watch and some things I'm not gonna put out there. But long story short is, I ended up, everybody in life, when you're growing up, people just make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? And I made a big mistake growing up. I always say I didn't realize what I had in front of me until I almost lost it, and that was a huge thing. And I was like, this is not what I want to do. This is not the path I want to go down. So I end up, really trying to. I really did change my life around, not try. And from that day, I was like, I just got to find different outlets to do things and not do the same stuff I was doing or run with the same people from before. So definitely just dug in with the gym and I fell in love with it ever since.
yeah, because the reason why I asked, because I can relate. I believe, I ain't say I believe, I know, fitness had pretty much made an impact on my life. It saved my life in a sense, it taught me a lot of things like discipline and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then too, it kept me, I don't want to say, it kept me out of trouble, and it don't keep me in a depressed state.
Yeah, no, facts.
You know what I'm saying? So like I use fitness as one of my outlets.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the reasons I asked. So how often do you work out?
Pretty much every day. I mean, for a while I wasn't doing no rest days, but the more and more you like search fitness and search like, gym stuff like that, and you learn about it, especially from like personal trainers, like, I'm like a sponge. I always say I love soaking up information. I never know everything. So I always talk to different people about their fitness journeys and see what they do differently. Because I always tell people there's many different ways to work out. Everyone has a different way of working out. But I pretty much try to work out every day. But granted, sometimes when, I'm at the firehouse, we try working out, but it doesn't always work out like that. And then obviously you need your rest days too. So, but typically pretty much every day I at least try to do, at least if I'm resting, I'll try to do like an active rest day, like on a treadmill or something, just to, keep the blood flowing.
Yeah, I feel you, man. That's the same time I be on, man. I try to work out every day. But see, with me, like my workouts, I be focusing on cardio. I focus on cardio a lot.
Yeah.
And I want to like get into like building muscle and stuff like that. So what type of workouts do you focus on?
Well, with my job and stuff, we always work at like a high pace, and our heart rates are always go up to like 180. We work in pretty much. A lot of people don't know that. Like our heart rates stay up pretty much really high when we're doing our work. So we try to focus on workouts that kind of do the same thing. So like circuit workouts or like CrossFit. Those are huge things that help. So I pretty much do that on some days. I love lifting. I'm a big fan of lifting. Actually, lately I've been neglecting a lot of cardio due to some injuries.
Okay.
But I miss cardio. I used to be a huge runner. I miss running. I love running outside more than I do on a treadmill. I feel like I just feel like the nature and just the birds, like everything just like the runner's high is just awesome. Like I don't feel like I don't get it on a treadmill as much. But yeah, I definitely love weights. I'm a big fan, but I do, as much as I hate the circuits, I love them too, so.
Yeah, man, I definitely love running outside. I feel free. Like you said, you running in the nature. And you said injury. What type of injury you had?
Earlier this year, I actually hurt myself at a fire. and I kind of like tore a little bit of my meniscus and chipped some bone off in my knee.
Oh, I had the same problem.
Yeah, so kind of like neglected for when it came to like legs. And then another one, I just pulled my groin from not stretching. You know, sometimes I like to think that I'm still like young, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't got to stretch or nothing. And, you know, the job and everything, that catches up after you for a while. So I don't ever stretch, and it's my fault. I always pull some muscles. Then I'm just like, oh, well, maybe if I would have stretched, that would have been better.
Man, I feel like God's sending me a sign through you, dog, because I don't stretch at all.
Yeah.
Like, see, so right now is my workout. I used to run a lot outside, but now my workout is just cardio. I hoop a lot.
Yeah,
So when I
yep.
hoop, I just don't stretch. I just, trying to get
Yep.
it in. And I do not stretch, and I feel it afterwards. Or sometimes while I'm running. And by you saying that, man, like, man, that's funny that you said that. That's funny
Yeah,
you
a
said
lot of
that.
people don't understand when it comes to, you know, just overall health. It doesn't even
Yeah.
have to be fitness. Mobility is a huge thing. Like yoga and just being mobile, stretching muscles that like you normally wouldn't, like band work. Like they stress on that huge in the fire department. Doing a lot of band movement and stuff like that. But mobility is huge. Like honestly, they say it's pretty much better than working out, like as in like for your muscles, because you're stretching muscles that you normally would never use. So like you really don't pull that much then, because you're pretty much using everything. But
Yeah.
mobility is huge when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah, man, because I definitely want to look into stretching because, like, I see a lot of older people
Yeah.
who got that hunchback, you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
And, and I don't want to be like that as I get older.
No,
you know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah, especially me, man. I already know. As I'm looking, I'm like, man. I was like, that's really how my back look. I do got a big back. Not even like off that, but I'm like, I'm hunched over too much. I never, we always think it's weird to sit up straight, but that's
Yeah.
really the best way for you. But sometimes I be getting tired sitting up like this, or I feel weird.
Yeah, I
You know
was
what I'm
going
saying?
to mention it feel weird to stand up
Yeah.
straight. That's why I'm leaning like this. Because
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
if I lean forward, I know I'm going to be hunched.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, shit. You ever thought about doing yoga?
No, so actually, when I was in my academy, we did yoga. It was yoga Wednesdays. Every Wednesday we did yoga, and it was awesome. Granted, at that time we weren't really taking it that serious because it was like an
Yeah.
academy, and you're like, oh, like working out again. But now that I'm getting older, like I wish I really took it more serious. But definitely, yeah, no, I got one of my best friends actually. Shout out Karina. She worked at Solid Core. If you haven't did any of their classes, you should check them out. But she's been stressing about me to get into there and do some Solid Core stuff, and they got some yoga and all that stuff. So I definitely got to get in there and try it. It's just me, talking about it, but I really got to be about it on that one.
No, for sure, man. No, for sure. Yeah, man. I'm gonna start looking into that too. I've been procrastinating. You know what I'm saying? And I had tore my meniscus as well. But see, I tore my meniscus at work. I can't say too much of that because my lawyer told me not to.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So since that happened, like, I gotta start stretching more, and I can feel it when I don't stretch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, stretching is definitely key, man. I don't stretch enough, and I don't even do the recovery things like I should be, like
Yeah, me too.
icing or like ibuprofen. Sometimes if you like injure yourself, like sometimes I just be thinking I'm still that young little kid where you're like it just heals after the next day. It's just scrapes and stuff.
how old are you again?
I'm only 25.
25.
Yeah, I always say I'm young, but I'm in an old man's body. I'm breaking down. I'm aging old, like in dog years or something.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask. I'm vegan.
Okay.
So how's your diet?
Lately, not good.
Okay, at least
But before I was doing really good, like with meal preps for a long time. That was actually how I gained, like a year ago, actually, year and a half, I would say. I weighed about 140 something, and now I weigh about about 170. But within a year time pass, like I check all like my BMI, like body fat percentage, like all that stuff like that, muscle mass. But I actually ended up gaining like 8% muscle, and I stayed the same and pretty much in body fat, which is pretty good. So at that time, I was doing really good actually with my diet. But I mean, that Firehouse food, man, that's where it kills me.
what you mean, like your job giving y'all free food?
No, we don't get free food. So every day, a lot of people don't know this. Every day, at least for us, however many people are at the Firehouse, sometimes it's 4 people, sometimes 6, sometimes 8, sometimes 10, and it can go all the way up to, I think 14 is the highest. So basically, everybody pitches in money every day, and then that money you pitch in gets you lunch and dinner. So typically around like noon we have lunch. Dinner would be around 6. Mind you, it always fluctuates. Sometimes we don't eat dinner till midnight because we're out busy with either fires or EMS calls.
Okay.
But yeah, no, that firehouse food, everybody loves fried food. In the firehouse, everybody's good cooks. We're all good cooks. So it's just like you got a lot of fats, stuff like that, and fried food, and sometimes it's healthy, sometimes it's not. But
Yeah.
you're eating a lot too. So sometimes people only eat one meal a day. We're
Yeah,
eating like
yeah,
two,
yeah.
three sometimes.
So what stop you to like let me start eating more clean. Let me get back on track.
Honestly, just me, man. I mean,
Okay.
sometimes I feel like in the fitness journey, the rice and chicken, the this and that, the salmon and broccoli, like sometimes it can get so old real fast. And when you do it for so long, sometimes I'll take a break for a while. And this break has actually been a little longer. It's been about like 6 months, I would say, since I've actually ate clean. And mind you, I don't eat fast food or whatever every day. I'm just saying like me eating like fried food or whatever it was
Yeah, yeah.
every other day or whatever. But yeah, no, sometimes I take breaks, but then once I get that little spark back, it's back in mode again.
Yeah.
And that's definitely what I want to do again here soon.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, even though I'm vegan, some days I might take a break and eat a dairy cookie. I ain't never ate no meat or nothing like that. But I'll probably sneak and just, eat a dairy cookie or eat some chips that's not really vegan.
Yeah,
'Cause you
right.
know what I'm saying? Because the same shit does get, it does get boring sometimes.
Yeah, yep.
You know what
And
I'm saying?
and the crazy thing about the world we live in nowadays is another thing is that to eat healthy and to be that fit person that eats only this and this with no like terrible food, it's more expensive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nowadays, if you want to go get broccoli, you want to go get this and that, that's all healthier, the healthy snacks, the healthy Pop-Tarts, the healthy whatever it is, where they're like 25 grams of protein or whatever. It's way more expensive than to go get it like a cheeseburger somewhere or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of crazy, but yeah, to eat healthy is way more expensive than to not.
Yeah, I agree. It's weird how like a bottle of water costs more than a soda. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
yeah.
It be like that, but I mean, how I look at it as like, shoot, I'd rather pay that than to pay a medical bill.
No,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? And when I mean about medical bills, just like, getting daily checkups on diabetes. You know what I'm saying? Just,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah,
you know.
no. I feel, and I definitely can tell when I do eat like shit like the next day, especially because if you wanna, they say your good lifts are from whatever you eat the night before, right? So if you're eating like shit the night before, or don't eat at all, you definitely feel it the next morning.
Okay.
Because especially, I mean, if I carb load up the night before, I feel like I have a little more strength the next morning. But yeah, if I like eat like just pizza or like something pretty shitty the night before, that next morning, it doesn't matter if I eat breakfast or not. I definitely feel more fatigued in a lot of my lifts.
I see. So like, you were big on lifting, right? You said?
Yeah, I love weights. Yeah.
Okay, so like anybody that's like myself want to get into lifting, what's your suggestions?
To be honest, I never really had like an actual personal trainer. I learned everything just looking up stuff and just asking people.
Okay.
Like, that's why I say there's many different ways you can work out. Like I'll still ask people to this day. Like, and I've been lifting, I'd say weights for probably close to almost 2 years now. And I'll still ask people like that I see in the gym every single day, hey, how do you do this? Or still learn some things that, I haven't seen. Because honestly, there's so many different workouts you can do that work the same muscle group, or it's the same thing. It's just free weight or not free weight. But what I would say is just look up some stuff, try some things, ask around to other people, like go to different gyms.
Yeah.
And find out that way. I mean, you can also get a personal trainer for like a few months and they can teach you stuff. But like I said, everyone has a different way of working out. And some of it is different for other people. Like I work out a specific way
Okay.
that I find beneficial for me. So if I'm working out, no matter what muscle group it is, everything is very controlled. You'll see a lot of people go super fast when they're doing their lifts or like a lot of body movement. If I'm working strictly like a certain muscle group, I try not to move anything else, and I pretty much tighten my whole body, like my core. So everything I do is a slow like downward, and a fast downward and a slow eccentric, which means like slow up. So if I'm doing back, I'm gonna pull it down kind of quick, but then the movement up will be very slow, like a 3-second count,
okay.
and it just really like engages those muscles really more. I feel like.
Okay.
So that's the way I found works out for me at least.
Okay. So, I ask anybody this who's into weightlifting, and this is a problem I'm kind of still having. Did you experience like being nervous to lifting weights in front of people in the gym?
Yeah, yeah,
And like,
definitely.
so how did you overcome that?
So that's definitely a huge thing, you know. There's a lot of ego lifting that happens in gyms all across everywhere, you know. And
Yeah.
and we always say people, you know, even we say this on the job a lot. Like a lot of people are scared to, you know, make mistakes or fail. But really in life, that's the best way to learn. That's the best teacher is to fail and make mistakes, you know.
I agree.
And if you're trying to better your own body, who cares what, you know? I have a big mindset on myself where I don't really care what people think about me.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I know who I am as a person. So when I went to a gym, I was very nervous. Like I have some buddies that lift, but they don't like going to gyms because I think that's the reason why. Is they don't want to like lift wrong or like see other people lift more or whatever it is that it might be.
Yeah.
But it's just, yeah, that's definitely a huge thing to overcome. But honestly, I just say go for it, man. Like a lot of people are so timid and so scared about some stuff like that of what people think. But to be honest, half the people that look big or whatever, sometimes they're not even lifting right either. You know, I'm seeing people that, granted, they're, you know, they're fit, but you know some of their movements are not well either. Everyone does that. I have movements sometimes I'm not doing it right either. I know.
Yeah.
So typically, no one's doing them perfectly.
Yeah.
You know.
Nah, man. I'm gonna take that suggestion because that's my fear. Like, damn, what if I'm doing like, am I doing it right? You know what I'm saying? Then I'm like, damn, I don't know where to start at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I definitely want to get into lifting. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm gonna take that.
And it's crazy too because I brought some people to the gym before with me that always said they wanted to work out, and I've you know taught a little bit of what I know because I don't know everything, but I know a little bit about enough. And they start off lifting, you know, it's because it's all about form. You could have the best form but not lift heavy and gain more than somebody who can lift heavy but doesn't have great form. So like I've had people that are way stronger than me, and I'm lifting more, but it's not because it's just because their form, they didn't know what they were doing. But when their form got fixed, obviously they're gonna lift way more than me because they have more body mass, they have more height to them. Like they should have been able to, but they were too scared or didn't know the proper form, stuff like that. So
and that's what my concern is with me. Just okay, I'm doing this right, and the form, you know, about the form, and and for me sometimes I get a little nervous to ask someone for help.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm just like, for me, it's like, oh, man, I'm scared of rejection or I want somebody to, like you say, ego.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's definitely a huge thing in all gyms is egos. But yeah, man, I would say just ask around. Like you gotta find the right gyms and the right people. Like my gym, I go to it every morning.
What gym you go to?
So I go to Vasa Fitness in New Berlin.
Okay.
A lot of people don't like going to it. They say there's a lot of people or this and that, whatever it might be. I go pretty much every morning at around 8:30, 9 a.m.
Okay.
And I see the same people that are dedicated just like me. And I really have no problems there, especially with seeing all those people every single day. You develop a relationship with everyone pretty much in the gym. And then like anytime you want to go work out on a machine and somebody's using it, everyone is pretty good at, you can cycle in.
Yeah.
And then, or talk to people, hey, what are you doing that exercise for? Does that work out? Or like, how does that feel like to you? I like this one better than that one. And everyone's very good there about sharing your stuff. No one gatekeeps about that stuff. Everyone's there to do the same thing, and that's just get better and better yourself.
Okay. So this is one of my last questions before we switch topics. The first question is, since, we talking about, building muscle and weightlifting, what, in your opinion, what food does a person have to eat to gain muscle?
So dieting is one huge thing that I'm not totally confident on when it comes to telling which route to go with, because there's many ways. Like I know some dudes that literally are fucking jacked, fit people, and they eat like shit and drink every single day, and they just have a metabolism or body type that just works for them. But what I say, what definitely just, it depends on what you're doing, is what I can tell you about that is there's two different things that I say. So like bulking is a thing if you're trying to gain weight.
Okay.
Bulking is a huge thing, and that's where you're like tracking your calories, your proteins, your carbs, your macros, because you have to eat more than your weight when it comes to protein, especially. So when you're bulking, I would say you just eat. There's a thing called dirty bulk and there's a thing called clean bulk. Clean bulk is you're getting all good fats instead of bad fats. Dirty bulking is just eating whatever just to gain weight, right?
Oh, okay.
So like McDonald's every day or whatever it might be. And then cutting is another thing. It depends if whatever you want to do. Like soon I want to start cutting, and cutting just means you're gonna go on like a calorie deficit and you're gonna eat very minimal carbs now, and or if not none, and very good fats instead of bad fats.
Got it.
It depends on what you're gonna do.
Okay. So, what is your advice for a beginner who wants to get into fitness?
I would say, you know, me, especially me having a fitness brand, one of my things on there is one day or day one. You know, it's very hard. It's very hard to get into a routine of working out. But the hardest part of it all is just showing up. You know, like you said, you don't want to go to a gym and you know because there's ego that comes with it. So showing up is one of the hardest parts
I agree.
for many people that are just starting. But once you start showing up and start feeling comfortable, it gets a lot easier. And then you start to develop a consistency, a habit. And then once that habit starts coming, you start to enjoy it more. And there's just, you know, there's steps to it, crawl, walk, run with a lot of things, right? So definitely just start and just go and don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to lift. Try things. If it's not working, then try something else. But don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to do something wrong. And 9 times out of 10, there's going to be that one good, or well, I should say one, maybe 2 times out of 10, there's going to be that one good person that comes and says, hey, I got a tip for you. Maybe you should try this.
Yeah.
You know? And you'll find those people.
Yeah, that's some good advice. And also too for people who's listening, like you said, to take one step at a time and don't be hard on yourself. Don't overdo it either.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes if I'm a big runner, so if I haven't run in a while, I can't run like I used to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I gotta build my tolerance.
Yep.
So yeah, that's some good advice.
And that's the same with weights. Like some days I can lift 15 pounds more than what I can on some days that I'm just weak and had off for like 5 days or something. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's always different. Some days I don't lift the same.
And before we switch topics, I forgot to ask you this: how do you feel mentally after a workout? How does working out helps with your mental health?
So I always say this. So the gym is and a workout is a way that I cope with life. You know, and we'll get into this more later on, but like my job is one thing. So like, you know, I'm always doing stuff for my job and this and that. But I need time for myself. So the morning time, I always say from 8 to noon, I always tell everybody, you know, don't call or text me because that's my time. That's my time where I get to, you know, release everything and, you know, worry about me and focus just on my health at that moment, nobody else's. But I definitely, it refreshes me. I always say, it's not that I want to go to the gym, it's because I need to. You know, I need to go to the gym every single day, which is why I don't like taking rest days, which is why I don't like when I have injuries, because the gym is how I cope with, you know, life and mental health and all that stuff like that. That's where I release everything.
Yeah.
So I feel relaxed. You know, sometimes I'm a morning person. When I wake up, you know, I get happy and I'm excited that I'm going to the gym. I know I'm going to the gym, so I'm in like a groove. I'm fresh out of bed, dancing, doing singing, whatever, right at 6:30, 7 a.m. every morning when other people are like still sleeping. And after that workout, I just feel refreshed. And one thing I do to always end my workouts, because I'm there pretty much for like 2 hours, sometimes 2.5, depending on what I'm doing. But I always end it with the sauna. I do about 20 minutes in the sauna, and the heat relaxes all your muscles, and I literally feel calm. Like I just feel so calm when I leave the gym.
Yeah, you know, I can definitely relate to that. For me, you know what I'm saying, even though I go play basketball, I don't do any individual workouts, but I do feel rejuvenated. I feel refreshed, especially in a night sweat, you know what I mean? And also, too, me going to the gym a lot, you build relationships with different people that you be seeing like all the time while you're there.
Facts. Yeah.
And also for me, like it been helping me out tremendously because, you know, my dad just passed away a couple months ago.
It's hard to hear that again.
Yeah, for sure. And like, man, like me just going back, I feel refreshed. You know what I mean? I feel good. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, I definitely can relate to that. So you mentioned about your brand. So how did your brand? What's the name of your brand?
So my brand is called Bare Minimum Fitness.
Okay. Now how did that start?
So we'll backtrack. So growing up, I was a huge sneakerhead. Like I loved sneakers. And I started reselling sneakers around I would say 6th, 7th grade. I started reselling. It was when it was big a little bit. Took a break for a while when I got into high school and then started again. And I ended up coming with I had to come up with a reseller name, and that was when I kind of started the entrepreneurship. Okay. So I was like, what should it be? What should it be? Trying to think of all these names, and I thought of Los Zapatos, right, which means the shoes in Spanish. And I'm just like, okay, that can be my
You're good.
That can be my name for reselling, because I didn't want to just be reselling and had no name or anything behind it. I feel like that was a little weird. So I ended up coming with that, and then later on in life, I was like, you know what? I met this guy, and I'm like, okay, let me start making some stuff that matches the shoes. How do I make more money? As an entrepreneur, you're always trying to figure out ways how to make more, not necessarily more money, but more clientele, I would
Yeah.
say. At that time, mind you, my mindset changed from entrepreneurship from then till now.
Okay.
But back then, it was like, how do I make more money? You know, 7th, 8th grade, you're like, you're trying to get some money. Like, you know, at that time, minimum wage, $7.25. It was like, I didn't want to do that. So then I ended up coming up with some clothes, and I posted it the one day, I remember, and I sold out like 30 hoodies like ASAP. I'm just like, wow, that was fast, like within like a day. So then I made another drop to match the next pair of shoes that I had, and same thing. And I'm just like, wow, I'm like selling out of these pretty quick. So I started making a decent amount of drops in with like shirts and other stuff, and I was like, okay, like this is actually, you know, people are buying the clothes more than they're really buying the shoes. Granted, the shoes at that, you know, still like $100, $200, $300, $400, and a shirt like $20, hoodie $20, $30. So granted, they are gonna sell faster, but it was kind of like interesting to me that happened. Well, then fast forward a little bit, one of my guys, shout out Broke Life. He came to me one day, and I used to buy clothes off him. He was a big person I used to get my merch off of when I was starting to, I would say, you know, develop style, I guess.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey man, like I'm about to open up this store, and I, you know, from talking to him throughout the years and stuff like that, we knew each other, but it was just like cordial. Like if we ever seen each other, it was just what up, you know what I'm saying? We had small little talks, but he said he liked, you know, the vibe and the aura and everything that I just had around me, the energy that I bring. And he was like, hey man, like I'm gonna open up this store. He's like, I want you to be in it. And I'm like, okay, like, you know, at that time, I'm not really taking it serious because I'm going through my academy at that time, and I'm just like, man, like, I'm not really trying to get into, like, clothes. I don't really know nothing about clothes, like,
Yeah.
and he knows everything, you know, like, he's a big fashion person, and I was like, no, and then he kept telling me, he's like, pull up, I'm gonna show you where it's at, and he was showing me, great location, right on Milwaukee Street, 719 North Milwaukee Street, don't forget to check them out.
Yeah.
And I was just like, all right, you know, I remember he did like a soft opening, and I just seen everybody that came in, and throughout, you know, the city, I always seen people wearing his stuff. I always knew like, oh yeah, that's Broke Lives. And I'm just like, all right. I'm like, man, like everybody's just wearing his stuff. And then that day he had so many people come in and just so much stuff, and it really inspired me. I'm like, you have that many people like support behind you, you know?
And so it sounds like that made you want to start your own thing.
Yeah, okay. It really like, you know, opened my eyes up, and I'm just like, this is dope. Like I just, you know, I love that energy, that, you know, all that stuff. Like I was like, I want to do that.
So how can people can find your merch?
So I recently just departed from the store.
Okay.
Nothing bad or anything happened. Just a lot of life changes and unexpectancies that happen, you know? So now I am out of the store and I'm going off to venture on my own. But I will be having a website. It is dropping January 6th of 2025, and that is how you'll be able to find my stuff. Unless you are local, then I will do, you know, drop-offs or pickups as well.
So your brand is just for like people can wear just working out, or it can be anything.
So it can be anything. So the brand, okay, I'll explain a little bit of what it is real quick. So the brand is called Bare Minimum Fitness. It stands for Bet Everything Accepting Risk. So, you know, in life, I always say life is, you know, whatever you want to make it. So
I like that.
You can, you know, every single day there's always challenges you're going to face or you know, that you'll face or that you can face of your choosing, right? So whether it's a promotion, new job, new this, new that, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be whatever it is you want to be, you know, that dream, it's a dream, right? It's there for the taking. In order to get to that dream, you have to do a whole bunch of risks in order to get there, right? Or you can take the minimum route and be average. And nothing wrong with being average, but I like doing, you know, I like being great. I like doing things to the best of my ability, and I want to be the best to ever do it, I always say, in anything that I do.
Yeah.
You know, I want to leave a mark on things. So you can either, you know, bet everything except the risk or take the minimum route. You know, it's your choice. And the big thing about my brand is that it teaches, and it is all about taking risk, being comfortable with being uncomfortable, right, growth, and mindset.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, and that's something like I'm learning to develop, starting my own brand of Let's See Plants, because Let's See Plants is not only a podcast, that's my brand, right, and I want to take it to the next level. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, what's your advice for anybody who want to step into clothing brand? Because you know you was working at that store Broke Life.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure you gained a lot of knowledge working there.
Yeah.
So the knowledge that you gained from, what is your advice for someone who want to get into the fashion brand?
Like I said, I know a little bit, but the biggest advice is, you know, and this is another thing, like I said, with anything in life, I'm a big person on quotes and stuff and motivation. That's what this brand is all about.
Yeah.
But you know, day one or one day, and also you're never gonna be ready. So if you're waiting to be ready about something, to start a brand or to do this or do that, you will never ever be ready for it. You just have to do it. So the biggest thing is I say is just do it, man. Like just, you know, Nike, not quoting it, but like, you know, their thing is just do it. And it sounds cliche, but literally you just got to do it, man. Like just go above and beyond, you know, take the risk. There's going to be a lot of stuff, you know, triumphs and stuff like that along the way, but that's the best part about the whole process in general is sometimes it's not about the destination. It's about, you know, the path that you took to get there.
Right.
And it's just like that's why I love my brand, because I never thought it would come to this. I never thought I would have something that relates to me literally from my job. Like everything I take in my life, I pour it back into my brand. And it's a huge thing is, man, you just got to go with it and just go.
Definitely. So before we switch topics, man, we had spoke and you said something to me that kind of like been sticking with me. And I feel like people need to hear this. You mentioned to me that you are your biggest marketer, if I'm saying that right.
Yep. Yeah.
Explain it to people about that. Like how?
Yeah.
Yeah. Explain that.
Yeah. I told you, you are your own biggest marketer. And what I mean by that is that in anything, as like if you're an entrepreneur, if you're somebody that is just trying to start anything to get it off the line or off the ground, you need marketing, right? Marketing is huge in this world. If you see like TikTok, you know, all those people that are on there famous is because they marketed off TikTok and we made them famous because we just watched their stuff. And all they did was make either funny videos or record content of them on everyday life. And so they're their own biggest marketer. They didn't have somebody that came out to them and say, hey, I'll post you on this or whatever. You're your own biggest marketer. So when it comes to fashion, especially, you want to wear your stuff pretty much like, you want to market your stuff like it's designer, basically. You know, you want people to see you in that, like, oh, that looks crispy or that looks fly. You know, I need what he's got on. Let me get that too. So you got to put it on so that way people can see it in you too. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I agree, because a lot of people don't keep that in mind. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people try to look for handouts and stuff like that. And that gave me more motivation when you told me that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like I said, starting this podcast, man, like at the beginning, I'm like, man, I'm finna get this person on, big names, stuff like that, so they can help me get put on. But it's just like somebody told me something similar to what you said, but in a different way. But it's just like, you know, I gotta be my biggest marketer, and I gotta put in the work. Because one thing, I don't want no one to be like, oh, he only got put on because of this person. Like, nah, I did this of hard work and me being consistent. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people forget that. And also, too, it's the process. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, definitely a process. Like I said, the process is the best part of everything.
Yeah. And that's something I'm learning, too, to enjoy the process. Because sometimes it can be frustrating.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like I said, starting this podcast, man, there's people who, like, I respect people's business, bro. But it became frustrating when people want to charge me. Or some people don't want to come on because I don't have a name, you know?
Right.
So that it does get discouraging. So before we switch topics, I keep saying this, but what keeps you motivated? Like, what are the things you do? I'm saying this wrong. Let me rephrase the question. What are the things you do? Or that don't make sense. What are the things you do? What do you do to keep courage, to keep being motivated? Because sometimes, you know, we all go through discouraged moments.
Yeah. No, I definitely get what you're trying to get at. Dude, I go through them all the time. I would say every single day I go through moments where I'm like, man, this ain't gonna take off, or man, people ain't gonna be rocking with this, man. Like, you know, there's a lot of things. But I always got to remember that sometimes, like, dude, it ain't even about is it going to take off or who's really supporting me, because I'm a big man on faith. Like, you know, I'm huge on the Lord above. And I done been through so many things in my life where I was literally that 1% that shouldn't have got this or shouldn't have made it through this. And that 1% came through, that man above came through. So when it comes to things like that, I always just put my faith into God. And it sounds very cliche, but like honestly, a lot of my worries in life, I don't even have them anymore because I let Him deal with it. And
Facts.
I just trust so much in Him because, like I said, I've made it through so much where I should not have made it through, and I'm just like, all right, you know what, I'm. And sometimes it's like I said, I say this a lot. It's not about what I'm trying to do or is this going to take off or is this. It's about the journey to get there because I learned a lot about myself as a person throughout my journey and things that I've accomplished that I never thought it would happen. So I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? That happened. This is gonna happen. And the big thing is manifestation. That's a huge thing. I'm big on too. You gotta speak everything into an existence. You gotta, you know, don't ever say, oh, I'm gonna try or this. You know, every single time I speak about something, I'm going to do this. I'm
Yeah.
going to do that.
It's funny you said that.
And I just gotta speak that into the world because the more you speak it into the world and convince yourself, you're kind of tricking yourself like into being like, yeah, this is it. It's already happening.
Yeah.
So you just gotta.
That's deep.
It's all about mindset. That's why I said this brand mindset's a huge thing too. It's literally it's more than just a brand. This is literally life. Is what my stuff is about.
Yeah, no, that's deep, bro. Because somebody told me the same thing. Don't use the word try, because when you use the word try, you're gonna have to do it, and that's something I've been telling myself like, no, I'm gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? And even with this podcast, bro, like not to keep bringing this up, but it's just like I was going through a lot, bro. Like, like man, I don't want to get off topic, but I was going through a lot. Like, you know, finding the room. You know what I'm saying? Then there's people that I thought I can rely on. I couldn't really rely on. But the grace of God, bro, and me putting my faith in God, he put the people, you know, in my life to point me into the direction. That's how I found this room. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Man, I was going through a lot, bro, and I definitely can relate. And that's good that you mentioned that because I think people need to hear that.
Yeah, and dude, and even when you speak it into the world, you may not make it sometimes. You may fail on some things.
Right.
But that's when you fail, that's the best part because then you look back and like I said, always look back at the journey because really you didn't fail. You learned something in that whole time about yourself or about something else. And you really didn't fail. You got what you wanted and it's not what you thought you wanted.
Facts.
It was something else.
Yeah.
And then now you started a different journey with that.
Yeah, facts, man. Nah, man, no, you definitely dropping some gems on that one. Real shit. So yeah, man. So, I want to let's switch topics, bro. I want to ask, what inspired you to be a firefighter?
Oh, that's a long story. So I'm gonna
that's-
shorten this
that's-
up the best I
That's
can.
a tough job, bro.
Yeah.
Because like, man, like when I think of a firefighter, man, I'm thinking about like running the burning buildings. You know, seeing a lot of crazy, wild shit. So I got a lot of questions on the actually about that. But explain your inspiration.
I'll kind of like it's gonna be a real choppy story because there's some things I'm not gonna want to put up on here because you know my job probably will see this. But long story short, we'll go way back to high school. You know, I was doing a lot of dumb things in high school, hanging around a lot of people, you know, and you know didn't really care about school that much. You know, because when you're young, you're in the moment. You're not thinking about life, right? You're not thinking about how things can affect you.
Right.
So growing up, you know, I don't know what it was, but I love fighting. I was always in trouble for fighting, always. And I ended up going to in high school. Some stuff happened, and a huge fight broke out in school, right? And that was like one of the people who kind of caused it. And I ended up, you know, getting in trouble for that through the law, actually.
Okay.
And I'm like, man, like I just keep messing up, you know, watching my mom cry, all that stuff. Like, you know, she raised me right, and I'm over here doing wrong. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I gotta do something with my life. I gotta figure this out, you know, because I'm not smart, but I can get by with certain stuff when it comes to school. And you know, I also, you know, I had a good head on my shoulders, just didn't have the right direction with it. And
Okay.
and I'm just okay. What can I do? Like, you know, how can I be this person with this hustle, but also a person that everybody like, oh, he dope, he made, you know, he's one-on-one or he's one of a kind.
Yeah.
And I ended up looking at firefighting. Never thought I would ever, you know, be that actually do it, but it was just like I said, a dream. And I was like, well, that's dope. I don't even know where I would start or how to even get there or anything about it because I don't have no guidance when it came to that stuff. But I ended up seeing this little thing that was like apply here, and I was like, you know what, let's do it. And I ended up actually not being able to almost get into it because of the stuff I did in high school. Almost cost me it, but luckily a lot of that stuff went away.
Okay.
So then I had to compete against a lot of people. It was like a year-long testing process. You had to do like a written exam, or oral like interview, a whole bunch of stuff like a background check, drug test, psych eval, physical. there's a whole bunch of stuff that you had to do, and it took like almost a year long.
Dang, I ain't know all that.
Yeah, and back then that was when everybody, you know, was still like before like all the market and everything like that,
Yeah.
and jobs and all that stuff. Things happened with COVID.
Yeah.
You know, everyone was working and everybody was gunning for these positions. And out of like, I think it was like 500 people, 500 or 700 people, because I'm competing against other high schools around the, you know, region. And I ended up scoring. I got my score at the end, and they were only taking 33 people, and I ended up scoring number 38.
Okay.
And like I said, like about setting the bar high and stuff like that, you know, I was proud of myself. You know, nobody could take my joy away when I found out my number, because even though I wasn't in the top 33, for me to be 38 out of that many people that I know were probably better than me, I just had a good day that day or something or whatever, you know, because I always set the bar high. I don't give myself much credit. But I was proud of myself, because I was like, I can't believe I even made it that far in the process, and I can't believe that I scored that high. Like, it was actually very crazy for me, and I was very grateful to even be a part of that whole experience. And that's when I really started to learn stuff about myself. And then I remember the day they started, I got a phone call, and it was like, hey, somebody dropped out. Do you still want that position? And at that time, I worked at Target, and I said, yeah, I do. I'll see you. They're like, can you make it here by 3? I said, yeah. I hung up. I called Target right away. I said, I quit. But they already knew that I talked to them too ahead of time. Like, hey, I might be getting this. If I do, it's a call, and then I'm done. Like, sorry, I can't put in a 2 week. And they're like, no, we totally understand. But yeah, I ended up getting that. And that was in 2018. Ever since then, I've just been rocking with it.
Now, not to sound cliche, but did you shed some tears?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Okay.
You know, I shedded tears when I didn't get that. As much as I said I was grateful for scoring that number, I was still hurt. You know, like when I didn't make it in, I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do now with my life, because college I knew wasn't definitely in the thing. So I was just figuring that out. Was like, wow, what am I gonna do? When I got that phone call, nobody could tell me nothing. I think I maybe jumped to like 6 feet, and I'm only 5 foot, like something. So it's like I was done, you know what I'm saying? But like,
I can relate.
Yeah, it was crazy, and it didn't even stop there. Mind you, there's plenty of stuff. Like, I had to do training for 2.5 years. COVID hit; it was longer. It ended up being like 3 years. Like, there was a lot of stuff through that whole time as well that I was, you know, still doing, and at that time, you know, still being kind of young and dumb, still learning. I really didn't make it to the field until what was it, 2020? Yeah, of 2020, of September or something. So I really didn't make it to the field today. And like I said, I started in 2018.
Yeah, because the reason why I can relate, because like, bro, you know, when I was getting the process of getting my CDLs, man, like, because, you know, I had to get because see, what people don't know who trying to get into trucking, like, you got to get your CDL permit. And that was a struggle for me, because, you know, I kept failing, and I finally passed, and I was happy about that. But what really hit me when I passed the test, because I went to trucking school, and I had a hard time comprehending, and like I was one of the people that was like kind of far behind. So like I had a hard time learning how to like shift gears. But get to the point, when I passed that test, man, I shed some tears, bro. So like tears of joy, bro. Like, man, I've been through some shit, man.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's good. And you said something I can relate, when you was like, it shows you who you are. Yeah. You know, and that's how I feel. Like, damn, it showed me like I'm glad I didn't give up.
Yeah.
Now, like, that's like at times when I do want to give up, I go back and look at that time where like, damn, you know what, I can do it because I did that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So yeah, bro, that right there shows about your character too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's definitely a huge thing, man. Because I had to, through that 2.5 years of me in my academy, you know, it wasn't just like we just trained. Like, I had to take tests. Like, I had to get all these certs. Like, it was literally like college, but you know, it was an apprenticeship program. So I had to, you know, pass all these things, and then EMT and all that stuff. I knew nothing about medical. Like, I was struggling. I was always the runt of the class. Like, you know, I need extra time. Like, I can't, you know, there's certain words. My grammar was terrible. Like, you know, especially talking, like trying to be, you know, professional. That's another thing that like was huge. I was working on, like, so there was a lot of stuff that whole time, like every single time I was always trying to pass the next test, and I kept saying, all right, well, I passed that last one. I can do this. You know what I'm saying? So like for me to make it through that academy was another huge thing. Like that was another huge accomplishment.
No, for sure. So what I want to ask, how do you stay physically and mentally prepared for emergencies?
That's a good question, man. Dude, honestly, I feel like, you know, I don't know if you ever heard this, but they say some people are born to do certain things.
Yeah.
I feel like I got a little bit of a gift when it comes to this job. You know, you see a lot of stuff, especially being here in Milwaukee. We see, you know, things you probably only see in movies. Like, it's crazy. But to be able to stomach that and cope with it every day in life, you know, I'm gifted on that because, you know, I definitely can, you know, handle it. And there's a lot of stuff that we do mentally and physically that, you know, kind of wash away all that bad stuff too. Like I said, the gym is a huge thing. That's really where I cope with it all, is the gym. And then, you know, just being, you know, like just physically and mentally with your health is a huge thing. You know, we have many outlets that we can go to if we need help with things. And there's a boss on the job. It sounds very cliche, but when I first came on the job, you know, I had a bad accident. It was my first few shifts on the job, and you know, somebody passed away, and it was a pretty bad accident. And you know, I was a little shaken up. You know, it was my first time ever seeing, you know, a deceased person, and my boss goes, "Hey, I know what we just saw. We're gonna talk about it for like 5 minutes, and then we're gonna forget about it." You know, shout out Ricky Price.
Yeah.
And when he said that, I was like, "That's cliche. Like, what do you mean? Just how can you just forget about it?" But that really stuck with me to this day, and that's really kind of how it is. Like, you know, we see it so much that if you just dwell on it, it'll eat you alive. Like a lot of the stuff you'll see, it really will. If you don't, you know, and if you need help, you ask for help. But if you don't, and you just bottle it up and, you know, kind of keep it with you, it'll come back to haunt you.
Yeah, because, well, maybe ask you that question, you know, when my dad passed away, including myself, we all breaking down. They just standing there just with a statue with a poker face.
Yeah.
And it didn't bother me, but it's just like, damn, like when I think on it, I'm like, damn, how can they do that? Like, cause I'll be kind of like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, that's a tough job, bro. That's definitely a tough job.
Yeah, your emotions is definitely something you got to control. I mean, a lot of people, at least speaking from experience a little bit, that, you know, when we pull up sometimes and like things like emergencies are going on, and you know, sometimes we may look, or at least I may look, I don't want to speak for everyone, that like I'm very like this stern face or look the same, but it's really like, you know, we have to master our emotions too, because you know, how would you feel if I came to your home and something was going on, and you know, I'm like hysterical with you, like crying or like freaking out as well. Like it doesn't look good, you know what I'm saying?
Nah.
So
Yeah, that's funny. So like, what is the most challenging part of your job?
Wow, that's another good one. Most challenging part of the job, I guess, for me, man, that's such a good one, because there's kind of a lot, but nothing that really like there is one that pops out, and I'm trying to figure out how to word it.
Yeah.
I guess you would say the mental health, and the reason why I would say that is because when I was on the job, I got into some trouble. Like I said, I didn't realize what I had until I almost lost it. So the most challenging part, I guess, from that is that I know how I felt and how I was when I, you know, at that moment when I almost lost being a firefighter. And I never want that feeling ever back. Yeah. So I guess it's just trying to do right every single day. That sometimes it makes me like sick because I get worried so much. Yeah. And I guess that's the most challenging, is just keeping it, I guess. That sounds cliche, but it really is. It means a lot to me. So it's like, I feel like it's harder for me to keep the job because of certain things.
No, because I can relate, because it's like, well, my job, I can't say too much, but I had a work injury. So now I'm like, damn, like, I know they might try to find something or do something, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, this your livelihood, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, no, definitely. But while on the job, is there anything challenging?
I mean, you never know what you're going to face every single day. Every day is different. You're always going to get different things. No day is ever the same. You never know what's going to happen that day. So I guess it's just, you know, making sure that, you know, you keep composure and make sure you're ready. You know, there's no room really for error, like at all. Like they say, nobody's perfect, but you know, when those tones go off, you kind of got to be perfect a little bit, you know, because any room for error can cost somebody.
Mm.
So you definitely, I guess that's probably one of the hardest.
So like you been in emergency situations, you had to run into the house while it's burning and stuff like that?
Yeah, multiple times. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Uh, yeah.
Ooh.
There's actually frequent amount of house fires that kind of happen that people don't understand. Um, every
Okay.
day, pretty much. Yeah.
So like what the people that don't know, what like would be like causing like the fire in the house?
There's actually a decent amount of stuff. So like candles are a huge thing.
Ah.
Candles, like people leave them burning even when they leave the house. That can catch like onto like clothes, or if it gets spilled from the hot wax. That's one thing. Another huge thing is incenses. So like those little incense sticks. A lot of people just poke holes in the wall and they'll put the
Yeah,
incense in
yeah,
there, and then they
yeah,
just fall and hit the ground. Well, sometimes those ashes, they're really hot. And then they like will go into the carpet, or like if people have clothes, and then they'll start smoldering and smoldering, and people will go to sleep, and then that whole time it's burning, and now it's starting to catch heat, and then it'll start the whole house on fire.
Wow.
But yeah, that hookahs are another thing that we've seen lately, at least that I've seen. And
Okay. Hookahs, what you mean? Like
yeah, like the hookahs that
I
people
know a
like.
hookah, but I'm saying how like
Oh, like the coals.
oh that can cause a fire.
Yeah, the coals,
Okay.
the hot coals sometimes, like the ashes from that, or like if one gets knocked off, people don't notice or something. And then another one is like the oven. So like a lot of people who don't have heat, they use their oven, or like don't want to pay like the heat bill, or whatever it is that may be. They put their oven on and they'll leave the door open, and that'll be like the heat to their home, and that's another thing that can cause a fire. But those are like, I would say, pretty much, at least from my experience, is like main things that I've seen throughout the years.
Okay, okay. Oh, so what fire safety tips do you wish more people follow?
Definitely your smoke detector. A lot of people, and I'll be guilty of this too. I'm not gonna lie, but like sometimes when you're cooking, if people's smoke detectors are like close to the kitchen, when you're cooking, it goes off, and you're like, oh, some people just go and take it down. Well, then they never put it back up. So that's a huge thing. Just make sure if you're gonna take it down while you're cooking quick, and it's contained, then at least put it back on right away. Don't leave it sit and go into your basement, because then you don't have one. But smoke detectors are a huge thing. We go into a lot of homes, and some people still don't have working smoke detectors, which is another huge thing, because those really do save lives, numerous. And
Okay.
also, you can, if you don't have smoke detectors, there is a hotline you can call from Milwaukee, and the closest firehouse will come out and give you a smoke detector for free.
Oh.
So if people don't know that if you don't have a working smoke detector, you can call them and they'll bring you one. And then if you are renting from your landlord, they should have you one. If you call them, they're supposed to come and bring you one, and you don't have to pay for it as well.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah, so that's one thing, and also carbon monoxide. Everyone only has a smoke detector, but carbon monoxide is another
I heard
thing.
of that. I heard of that before. Okay.
Yeah, so definitely another carbon monoxide, and the same thing at renting. They have to get you one of those too. And then some smoke detectors have built-in carbon monoxides in them as well.
Okay. Cool. All right. Cool. Yeah, I ain't see it now. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'm guilty of that too. Take it to what's some
Yeah.
jiggy off. You call it smoke alarm when you cooking. So I'm guilty of that. Yeah. That's some good tips. So to my two last questions before we switch topics. Now, if someone wanna be a firefighter, what's your advice?
Start now. I mean, I'm actually a recruiter. I do recruiting for the department. We go around to plenty schools, but there's different age groups you can get into. There's 17 through 19. There's a way you can get in through that way. Otherwise, there's a Gen Pop list that comes, I think, every other year now, and that's 19 to however old you want to be. But yeah, there's a lot of ways. I would say start now. Start looking into it. We have programs where you can do like intro to stuff. So you can like if you're younger and you want to get in as well, and you're below 17 years old, there's called JFI, and it's meant for younger kids to come and get your hands on some stuff to see if it's something you want to do when you're older. There's a lot of women camps that we have. It's called Camp Hero. And they do stuff for that as well, where it's just women and you get taught by women instructors to see if you want to do that as well. But there's many different ways you can do it. There's MATC, there's other colleges that offer classes that you can go through. Sometimes other fire departments offer apprenticeships through them as well, where you can go and they'll pay for you to go to school and get your med license, and then you can get right into them. but there's a lot of ways you can do it. But fire, you definitely need your fire certs and your EMT or paramedic. Paramedic is a huge thing. Pretty much all departments kind of require you to have your paramedic, so
Okay.
it's definitely something to go get. Those things.
Okay. So, what's the one thing you wish you knew before becoming a firefighter?
I guess the opportunities. You don't really know. Like you think of a firefighter, oh, he must work this shift, and then does he work this? I guess, but the opportunities is the endless. You kind of like pretty much make your own schedule, at least where I'm at.
Okay.
So you have your schedule for a year, and you work one day and you're off two. You could work 2 days and be off one, but the most you can work, at least for us, is 48 hours. But then there's things called trades where, like, if you were on a different shift than I am, if I'm red and you're green, and I'm like, hey, I want off July, this day that I work, and you're like, okay, I can work that for you, but then you work my day in February. You can make trades with a certain amount of people and stack those up then and be off for ample amount of time. But even just not even doing that, you still have 2 days off. So like, for me being an entrepreneur, it gives me enough time to at least some days do some things for my business.
Yeah.
But for even other people that are on the job, there's a lot of people that have their own. A lot of firefighters do like landscaping or realty, stuff like that. So there's a lot of opportunities that I didn't know that you could actually do. There's mechanics, there's people that do a lot of stuff on the job.
Okay. Cool. No, that's what's up, dog. That's what's up. So this is my last question, man. How did you feel when you found out you were expecting triplets?
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I always said I wish I could have recorded the exact moment. It was funny. Yeah, I'm having triplets.
That's crazy.
Literally, like a 1 in a million pregnancy.
Does triplets runs in your family?
No, so actually, on my girl's side, her family has twins that run in her family. Not triplets. But yeah, no, it's crazy, and she didn't take anything to like get pregnant or nothing, none of that stuff. So this is all natural, which is another huge thing because that's crazy. Normally, you have to take certain things in order for women to drop that many eggs. But yeah, man, it was crazy. I'm in the first. Mind you, I have no kids. First time ever going to the first ultrasound, and I'm sitting there, and my girl's on the table, and they're like, okay, like we're gonna start taking a look, and I'm expecting to see one kid up there, and it's moving a few times, and like actually this ultrasound tech she goes, oh, and then moves it, and I'm like, I see a glimpse of something, and mind you, I don't really know how to read these, but like it kind of tells there was something moving, and I was like, what was that? And she goes, oh my, I think, and then she pauses again and moves it, and I'm like, hold on, like I know I just seen something on there, like what do you mean, oh my? Like she's like it's like suspense now, and then finally she moves it, and it sits perfectly. And it shows all three, and I see 3 beats on all 3 little things. And I'm like, she's like, I think there's 3 of them in there. She's like, you're having triplets. And I just remember like my face got flushed. I had to stand up because I thought I was like gonna pass out. And there was a little ledge, so I go over and I put my like hand on the ledge, and I'm like, oh, like I just got this face, and I heard them talking, but I couldn't hear them at least for like 5 minutes. Like everything was just. So many thoughts were racing through my head. It was like, I'm gonna be a dad. Then it was like of 3, and then it was like, things just started running through my head, like dreams of past or like things have happened. Like just so much stuff was going through my mind. I didn't know what to think, and I was like, it's kind of like an out of body experience. And I was just like, oh my, like I didn't say one word. Like so, I turned back around, and I'm finally coming back, and my girl's like crying because she thought I was mad. I was like, oh no, I'm not mad. I was like, I'm shook, and she's like, oh okay, and but it was just definitely a crazy thing, like. We walk out of the office, and everyone in the office has like our ultrasound up on their computers, and everybody's whispering and talking and stuff. And it's something serious then when that's happening. And I'm just like, wow. And we're just walking, and we're just silent, and like everyone keeps coming up like, congratulations. Oh my God, this is crazy. Like, and we're just so quiet. Like it looks like we're like pissed, but we're really just like shook. Like it's like whoa, like what? I can't believe it. So it took a while to set in, but. It's set in now, and I'm excited, man. I mean, I'm excited to be a father.
What's up, dog?
I was really the only thing I was waiting on in life was a house, and we got that now. And Yeah, dude, it was. I'm really excited. Like really excited. I guess it's just one thing. You know, I know that it's coming, but I think it's another thing that when they're actually born and I get to finally hold them, I think that's when I'll really feel it.
Yeah, girl, I want to ask you, like, are you kind of like nervous? Like, are you nervous about like dealing with three different personalities?
Yeah, I'm definitely. It's. I mean, there's no book. I mean, there's books on parenting, but there's really, everyone parents
Yeah,
different. There's
yeah,
really you can read a book, but really things
yeah.
are different.
I
You
get
know.
it. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I'm worried, but right now, all I think about daily is just making sure all three of them come out healthy and she comes out healthy and no
Oh yeah, man.
complications happen.
So you having three girls, three boys?
No, so we might not know at all until they're born. Like with having triplets, it's very hard to tell. There's one chance that we can, which is on the anatomy scan, which comes next month. So we'll see, but I know for sure we're having two identical and one fraternal.
So what do you want to have?
Just healthy babies, man. That's all I want. But if I can choose and they're all healthy, I'd prefer two boys, one girl. It'd be awesome. But yeah, man. Like I said, I'm excited, but I think definitely a little nervous. But it's I always say this too. Like I'm grateful to even be given this opportunity because first off, it's a blessing to even have three.
Yeah, it is.
And 0 to 3 right away. I'm done after this. But also, I've always said like she's nervous that about certain things. When it comes to income and all that's like everybody else would be
Of
nervous
course.
about. But I just tell her, take it one day at a time. I'm like I said, I'm big on faith, big on the Lord, and there's people with that are way less fortunate sometimes out there that and they get by just fine.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So
Nah, facts. No, it is though. Like three. Damn. Nah. Yeah, man. Kids are expensive. You got three at that.
yeah,
So-
it'll suck for like the first few years with
Yeah.
doing a lot of things, but I'm used to not sleeping from my job, so like that's not nothing.
So shit. I mean, yeah. Then I'm pretty sure y'all be good. Y'all gonna have a baby shower, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, people gonna come in with gifts and shit.
Yeah,
Y'all
yeah.
be good for a little minute. Oh yeah, that's what's up though, dog. Yeah, I definitely want to have kids myself, but triplets, oh man, I'll
Yeah.
probably be done with that. So do you see yourself having more kids after that?
Probably not.
Yeah, yeah.
We're gonna see though. But I always said I always wanted to adopt, so that might happen. We'll see.
Okay.
Maybe we'll get an even number. And
Yeah. That'd be dope. We get like three boys.
yeah.
That'd
I'd be
dope.
excited. Yeah.
That'd be dope.
Yeah.
And three girls, like, oh man, you dealing with four.
I'll tell you what. If I get 3 girls, we're going again. Like I need
Facts.
me a
Yeah.
bloodline boy. Just
That's how I feel. I need somebody to carry my legacy.
right.
Nah, for sure. So this is my last question. What are you most looking forward to about life with triplets?
To another exciting chapter, I guess, in my life. It's gonna be. Went through a lot of chapters in my life. Literally, I swear it's like a book. Everyone's life is though. But this one is like a whole new series now. I always had to only worry about myself, and now I gotta worry about 3 little ones that are gonna look up to me, and I'm gonna be a dad. So like, that's a big title. It probably won't hit me like I said till they're here, and then it's gonna like really kick in gear. Like oh shit.
Yeah.
But I'm just looking forward to this chapter. I'm excited to see what it'll bring. I've always wanted to be a young dad. I think I've pretty much established myself young in life. So I was only waiting on a few things, and those were done. And now I'm like, okay, I'm ready. There's nothing really I'm too worried about when it comes to aspects of life with them. But that's just one thing where you just roll the dice and just
For sure.
See how it goes.
Sure. So I wanted to ask you this. Now, did you have your dad in your life?
So yeah, so I call him. It's funny actually. So I have 2 dads technically.
Okay.
I have one, but on paper it's 2. And the reason why I say this because I have a stepdad, but I don't call him stepdad. That's my dad, And I actually he adopted me, so I took his last name.
Oh.
But yeah, no, that's my dad. I always say there's nobody else gets that title. I call him a sperm donor, to be honest with you, and I don't know if that's a proper term, but yeah, that person, he made me, but my dad really is the person who made me.
I get what you're saying. He really had no impact on you.
Yeah,
The reason I asked you that question, should I ask you this earlier, like, does that give you more motivation of being a good father?
Oh yeah, my dad and when I refer to my dad, that's that's my stepdad, which I said is my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's a great man. First off, to even be able to take on a role with a woman that has had kids already with other people, that's a whole thing itself. You know what I'm saying? And my dad did that with my mother, and he's never had kids of his own. So me
Okay.
and my sister were his kids, but like not from him. So that's why this also is a special moment for me, because it's like I hope I get boys so he can, he doesn't have any boys except, so
Yeah.
it's like I hope I can give him this gift too as well. But yeah, no, my dad is an amazing dude. For him to step up and be a person and take care of other people's kids, that's one thing that a lot of people don't ever do in life or never
you
would.
right on that one.
And he's an amazing dude. He takes care of everybody. He worries about everybody else but him. Yeah, I love that, man. He took care of me. He raised me into a man, and that's for sure. And that's why I'm ready for this.
Oh, that's what's up, man. That's something like I think about my dad, because my dad made a huge impact on my life, and that's something I get sad about. Like, damn, like he ain't here to see me have kids. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
Right.
He he contributed a lot to my life, and I can definitely relate to that. So before we end this, like, what's your advice for someone who's dealing with the things you went through in your life? You know what I'm saying? Because there's people out there who don't have a father in their life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They just lost. Cause sound like us talking sound like it was a period of time you was lost. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So like, what's your advice for someone to to overcome those things?
I'm a big firm believer on you have to go through stuff in order to really see a vision, right? You can see a vision, but sometimes you just got to go through the worst of the worst, and you really gotta find yourself. But I always say, man, like God is the biggest thing, and literally the reason why I'm here today, every single day, why I wake up, where I get to safely, how I, all these things in my life is because of that man. So if you don't got, a dad in your life, or, parents or whatever it is, look up to that man above, because he's going to love you right or wrong. You could do the worst of the worst. And, he died on the cross for sins, for other people's sins, and he'll never judge you. He's always going to point you in the right direction and give you as many chances as you want. Sometimes, he's going to make you learn, but definitely just find something like that, man. That's just huge to me.
Yeah, I agree. And before we wrap things, I keep saying this, repeating myself, but like, bro, like, man, losing my dad been extremely tough on me, bro. And like, me leaning on God been giving me the courage the strength, I should say, because I don't know how I'm doing it, bro.
Yeah,
Because
right.
mind you too, bro, like when he passed, like I was still pre-recording my podcast, and like I be zoned out, and then you know what I'm saying, and yeah, bro, like that's some good advice. I wasn't expecting you to drop the gems, but
Yeah, no, man, for you
for
especially,
sure.
man, you're doing some good stuff here, man, and just keep doing it, especially after that. Some people take breaks when certain things like that in life happen to them, and for you to keep pushing, I'm sure he's watching down on you, proud, just know that every single day.
Man, hell yeah, dog. You gonna make me shed a tear, dog. But no bullshit, bro. Because I feel like he wouldn't want me to stop. Just me knowing him, like he a big. One thing about my dad, he's big on like if you start something, you gotta finish it.
Yep.
And that's something like, cause like when he died, that's like the first one of the things like, damn, I can't stop. Plus, so I invest into a lot of money to this shit, bro.
Yeah, right.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, I don't give a fuck what. Long God can keep me on the strength. Long God gives me breath, however you say it. But God just keep giving me the opportunity for me to keep going, bro. I can't stop.
Yeah, and I'll give you some motivation on that last part. You said you got a lot of money in this stuff. When it comes to say, I always say it's easier to go forward than it is to turn back. You know what I'm saying? So for my brand, I always say like, I'll die before I quit the brand. Like the brand isn't just a brand. Like it's literally my life, everything I've went through that I'm sharing with everybody else that has go through the same stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that's what right here, right on the shirt. The weak get eaten. I have plenty of motivational things. I put the weight on the shoulders, and in life, your weight's always on your shoulders.
Yeah.
So this brand is literally my life poured into just things to share with other people that go through the same stuff.
Yeah, no, dog. No bullshit. You got me tearing up, dog. God damn, dog. Shit, damn, nigga, you got me tearing up and shit. But yeah, man. But nah, man. That's how I feel with this podcast, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like starting it off, it was like, well, okay, I want to do it to motivate people. But then with my dad passing, it's just like, man, like this is me. Like this is representing me, and also to give others motivation who's going through something similar, or bring people on who can relate, because because I feel like people testimonies can inspire people. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So hell yeah, bro.
Yep,
But
and that's literally that's why I do recruiting for my job. That's why I
Yeah.
got this brand. You know, I have stories that can help other people. And I think I told you before. Remember, I always, you know, when I go to schools, I always look for the bad kids. I guess I would say, and it's not because, you know, whatever you may think. It's truly because, you know, those type of people need the most guidance, I guess,
I agree.
when it comes to things. And some of those people are great people. They just need the right person to come along, right? And you know, you look back at high school now, you know, all the people that, no offense, but like back in the school that were doing straight A's and did all this stuff, you know, and then me, who's never going to class or doing whatever, you know, look at where our two lives are now.
yeah, be
You know
like
what I'm
that,
saying?
bro. Nah,
So
be like that, bro.
yeah,
Yeah, be like that. Well, that's all the questions I have, man. Keep doing your thing, bro. You know
for
what
sure,
I'm saying?
man. Appreciate. Yeah.
Cause you know, after that conversation we had at the mall, bro, like I'm like, damn. I was telling my guys, like, bro, I met this one guy. You know, he put me on game. That gave me more motivation. You know what I'm saying? In my head, I got a how you say the damn word? A board, a balancing board. From how you say that word? It's just ideas on what I'm gonna do to market myself and get better, bro. So
Yep.
yeah, man, I feel like yeah, bro, I feel like God using you for a reason, bro. Keep
No,
doing
facts.
that, bro.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on the podcast. And
sure.
you know, hopefully people that do take the time out and listen to the podcast, listen to a lot of the things that I've said. Maybe at least if people can take away one thing at least from what I said or something, just something small. I did my job. You know what I'm saying?
for sure.
That's all I care about. Just